Hi there! In this video, I am going to cover the basics of medical terminology. I'm going to go over the components of medical terms, plurals for the terms, and offer examples and reviews on the subject. Medical terms are made up of the following word elements. Prefixes. They appear at the beginning of the word and usually tells the how, why, where, when, how much, how many, position, direction, time, or status. Roots. They usually specify the body part to which the term refers. Suffixes. They appear at the end of a word and usually indicates a procedure, condition, or disease. Note how the word usually is in these definitions. There can be exceptions to these loose rules. Example of a medical term. Periarthritis, swelling around a joint. The prefix is peri, which means around or surrounding. The root is arthur, which means joint, and the suffix is itis, which means inflammation. To analyze a term, always start with the suffix. Then go to the beginning of the word, which will be either a prefix or a root. If there is an additional part in that term, it will be a root. Terms will always have a suffix. Prefixes and roots are not always required. Arthritis, inflammation of the joint, has a root, arthur, and a suffix, itis, with no prefix. Neoplasm, new growth, has a prefix, neo, and a suffix, plasm, with no root. Osteoarthritis, inflammation of the bone and joint, has two roots, oste and arthur, and a suffix, itis. Combining forms. When a vowel, usually O but not always, is added to the end of a root, it is referred to as a combining form. The vowel used is referred to as a combining vowel. Its purpose is to aid with pronunciation. Combining forms are written as root/vowel. Examples: arthro, joint; gastro, stomach; denti, tooth; fungi, fungus or mushroom. Let's review. The prefix appears at the beginning of the medical term. The root is a foundation or base of the medical term containing its primary meaning. The combining form is the root plus a combining vowel. A suffix appears at the end of every medical term. Plurals. Plurals are formed in various ways depending on which letters are at the end of a term. Singular terms, ending in is, change the I to an E. For example, diagnosis becomes diagnoses, neurosis becomes neuroses. Singular terms ending in us change the us to I. For example, bronchus becomes bronchi, bacillus becomes bacilli, calculus becomes calculi. Exceptions to this rule are virus becomes viruses, sinus becomes sinuses, corpus becomes corpora, meatus is still meatus, plexus becomes plexuses, and viscus becomes viscera. Singular terms ending in a add an e. For example, sclera becomes sclerae, scapula becomes scapulae. Singular terms ending in change the to an a. For example, acetabulum becomes acetabula, capitulum becomes capitula, and septum becomes septa. Singular terms ending in ix or ex change the ending to ices. For example, calyx becomes calyces, index becomes indices. Singular terms ending in oma add ta. For example, adenoma becomes adenomata, and carcinoma becomes carcinomata. Sometimes it might be acceptable to simply add an s to the end of oma. Singular terms ending in nx change to nges. For example, larynx becomes larynges, and phalanx becomes phalanges. Singular terms ending in on change to a. For example, ganglion becomes ganglia. Sometimes it might be acceptable to simply add an s to the end of on. Singular terms ending in ax change to aces. For example, thorax becomes thoraces. To review, is becomes es, us becomes I, A becomes AE, becomes A, IX or EX becomes ICES, OMA becomes OMATA or OMAS, NX becomes NGES, ON becomes A or ONS, and AX becomes ACES.